Well, everyone, this is part 3 of English. Those who haven't watched the part 1 and part 2, see the link in the description box below. Well, let's get to the video. Good morning, children. Shall we begin our today's class? In the last class, we learned many meanings. In this class, we will be learning questions and answers of that chapter, and we'll be checking some activities given in the textbook. In the last class, we learned 3 question answers. What prevented the boy from seeing the river? What did the boy hear about the river from the villagers? Why did the boy like to walk barefooted? So these 3 were the question answers that we learned in the last class. Fourth one, how did the boy get a chance to see the river? How did the boy get a chance to see the river? The boy was left alone as his parents had gone to visit relatives. The boy decided to make use of this opportunity to see the river. How did the boy get a chance to see the river? The boy was left alone as his parents had gone to visit relatives. So the boy decided to make use of this opportunity to see the river. How did the boy get a chance to see the river? The boy was left alone as his parents had gone to visit relatives. The boy decided to make use of this opportunity to see the river. Fifth one, did the woodcutter encourage the boy to go to the river? Did the woodcutter encourage the boy to go to the river? No, the woodcutter really discouraged the boy. Yes, you're right. The woodcutter really discouraged the boy by telling that the river was far away. So the answer is no. The woodcutter really discouraged the boy by telling that the river was far away. So the answer is no. The woodcutter really discouraged the boy by telling that the river was far away. Now the sixth one. Was the boy a good walker? Pick out the lines that justify your answer. Was the boy a good walker? No, miss, he was not a good walker. Okay, if that is your answer, pick out the line to justify your answer. He had never walked further than the mile from his house to his school. Am I right, miss? Good, that's the answer. He was not a good walker. He had never walked further than the mile from his house to his school. The answer is he was not a good walker. He had never walked further than the mile from his house to his school. In the chapter, we have heard a line. The hands spoke a language of their own. So, here the 7th question is that the hands spoke a language of their own. What does the expression mean? What does the expression mean? Yeah. As the girl moved the hands, her bangles made some musical sound. So the poet or the writer says that they were talking to each other in their own language. So, someone tell the answer for the 7th question. As the girl moved the hands, her bangles made some musical sound. The writer says that they were talking to each other in their own language. Okay, you're right. I hope everyone got the answer of the 7th question. The answer is, as the girl moved the hands, her bangles made some musical sound. So the writer says that they were talking to each other in their own language. So before getting to 8th question, we have to learn sound words. So do anyone know what is sound words? Okay, no problem. No problem. Sound words are the words that we describe sounds. For example, the lion roars. So the word roar is a sound word. It describes the sound of the lion. So the snake hiss. So the word hiss used to describe the sound of the snake. So the sound word is hiss. Now the bees buzz. So anyone tell which is the sound word used here? The bees buzz. The word buzz is the sound word. The word buzz describes the sound of bees. There was a bang sound when the bomb exploded. So the word bang used to describe the sound of violent explosion. So the sound word is bang. Now, the patter of rain on a roof. So the word patter used to describe the sound of rain. So the patter is the sound word. So like that, find other sound words from dictionaries or from the chapters. Okay students, do you understand what sound words? Okay, now let's get to the eighth question. Eighth question. Identify the expression used by the author to describe the flow of water. Identify the expression used by the author to describe the flow of water. So, which is the word used here to describe the flow of water? Yeah, right. Trickle. A trickle of water. The word trickle is used by the author to describe the flow of water. So what does the trickle mean refers to? Yeah, the word trickle refers to the sound made by water. It can be described as a sound word. Okay, now let's get to the ninth question. I hope you all understand what is sound words, right? Okay, now let's get to the ninth question. Was the boy really thirsty? What made the boy thirsty? Was the boy really thirsty? No, we know that the boy was not really thirsty. Then what made the boy thirsty? Yeah, the trickle of the refreshing water made the boy thirsty. So the answer is the boy was not thirsty. The trickle of the refreshing water made the boy thirsty. Was the boy really thirsty? What made the boy thirsty? The question is that, now the answer is, really the boy was not thirsty. The trickle of refreshing water made the boy thirsty. Now the 10th question. Why was the boy sure that he had covered half the way? Why was the boy sure that he had covered half the way? He knew that he had walked for an hour, so that he was sure that he had covered half the way. So the answer is he knew that he had walked for an hour, so he was sure that he had covered half the way. Was the boy sure that he had covered half the way? Yes, he knew that he had walked for an hour, so he was sure that he had covered half the way. That is the answer of the question. So, in the chapter, we learned that, or we read that, the boy unwrapped his loaf of bread and he broke that bread into half. Why he broke that bread into halves? Yeah, he offering one portion to the village boy. He met a village boy when he was walking to the river. So on that time he became hungry and he unwrapped his loaf of bread and broke it in halves and offered one portion to the village boy. Here, what attitude of the boy is relieved here? What attitude of the boy is revealed here? Here, I will give you 3 options. Each option contains 3 words. Option A, angry, unkindness, sadness. Now option B, friendliness, kindness, generosity. Option C, discourage, loneliness, thirsty. Which is the answer? Option B, friendliness, kindness, generosity. Am I right, miss? Yes, that's the answer. So the attitude of the boy revealed here is his friendliness, his kindness, and his generosity. Now let's check the 12th question. Why did the boy feel discouraged? We heard in the chapter on the last portion that the boy felt discouraged. So why did the boy feel discouraged? That is the question. So what's the answer? Yeah, he was alone. The river was not in sight. So he began to feel discouraged. He was alone. The river was not in sight. So he began to feel discouraged. So this is the answer. He was alone. The river was not in sight. So he began to feel discouraged. So I hope you all understand the 12 questions that we discussed now. Let's get to the 13th question. So the boy found the silence impressive but frightening. Why? The boy found the silence impressive but frightening. Why? Yes, the silence was different from the silence he had experienced in a room or in a street. Here he was alone, so the silence was impressive but a little frightening. So the answer is the silence was different from the silence he had experienced in a room or street. He was alone, so the silence was impressive but a little frightening. Now let's get to the 14th question. What broke the silence of space? What broke the silence of the space? So the poet told that there was only the silence of space, but suddenly the silence of space brought into some sound. Which was that sound? Yes, it was the sound of the river, the roaring sound of the river. So the answer is the roaring sound of the river broke the silence of space. The roaring sound of the river broke the silence of space. Now the 15th one. The boy slipped and stumbled, but still he ran. Why? Yeah, it's a very simple question. The boy slipped and stumbled, but still he ran. Why? Yeah, the roaring sound of the river attracted him madly. He was very eager to see the river, so he ran to the river. So the answer is the roaring sound of the river attracted him madly. He was eager to see the river, so he ran to the river. The roaring sound of the river attracted him madly. He was very eager to see the river, so he ran to the river. Still he slipped or stumbled. Okay, now our last question. Identify the words used to describe the water. Identify the words used to describe the water. So what are the words that used to describe the water? Blue, white, wonderful, cold. Yes, you're right. Come here and tell the words that used to describe the water. Blue, white, wonderful, cold. Yes. Please tell that words again. White, wonderful, cold. Okay, please be seated. So, this is question A of the 16th question. There is two questions, question A and question B. So the answer that we told is the answer of the 16th question A. Now the question B is, the water in the river is clean and bright. Are our rivers the same? If not, why? So, what is the answer? What is your opinion about that? The water in our river is not clear and bright because it is often polluted. Yeah, you're exactly right. Now, if our rivers are not clear and bright because every man polluted the river by putting all the waste. So now the river isn't just like black color with wastes and plastics. Okay, students, belong to the 16 questions and its answers. Next, we have many activities to do and to learn. Today, we are only learning the first 4 activities. Okay, the balance activities we will learn in the next class. Okay, now let's see the activity 1. Activity 1. You have read the story How Far is the River, haven't you? Now try to remember the story and complete the following suitably. So, here they have given 4 questions for us in 4 boxes. So, according to the questions, we need to write our opinions about the story How Far is the River. I will give you 2 minutes. Then you should write your opinion inside the boxes. After the time is finished, you should come here and read it loudly. The sentence that impressed you the most. The boy was young and the river was small, but the mountain was big. The moment you enjoyed the most. Then he was ankle deep in the painfully cold mountain water, and the water was blue and white and wonderful. The characters who touched your heart. Village boy. The pictures that flashed through your mind. A parrot suddenly scratched, flew low over his head, a flash of red and green. Okay, good. Now who is next? Is there anyone next? Yes, miss, I am next. The sentence that impressed you the most. A trickle of water came from the hillside and the boy stopped to drink. The water was cold and sharp but very refreshing. However, it seemed to have the effect of making him more thirsty. The moment you enjoyed the most. Then, as the boy rounded a sharp bend, the silence broke into sound. A sudden roaring sound, the sound of the river. The characters who touched your heart. The boy and the village boy. The pictures that flashed through your mind. The hill was covered with lush green ferns, the trees were wound in creepers, and a great wild dahlia suddenly reared its golden head from leaves and ferns. Okay, students, I hope you all understand the first activity and its answers. Let's get to the second activity. Here are the thoughts of a boy after his nature walk. Read it. So, here is given a thoughts of a boy after his nature walk. Not the boy in the story, another boy. Here they have given the thoughts of another boy after his nature walk. So, let's read it. Recently, I visited a mountain valley, the magnificent valley of Kashmir. It was surrounded by snow-capped lofty mountains, which made it a land of springs and beautiful lakes. For a moment, I wondered whether I was in heaven. Really, Kashmir is a land of paradise. So, did you heard the thoughts of the boy after his nature walk? So, what did he visit? Yes, he visited a mountain valley. Which mountain valley? The magnificent valley of Kashmir. What was the valley surrounded by? It was surrounded by snow-capped lofty mountains, which made it a land of springs and beautiful lakes. For a moment, what did he wonder? Yeah, he wondered whether he was in heaven. Then, what he used to describe Kashmir? Yeah, Kashmir is a land of paradise. Let's read the thoughts of the boy once again. Recently, I visited a mountain valley, the magnificent valley of Kashmir. It was surrounded by snow-capped lofty mountains, which made it a land of springs and beautiful lakes. For a moment, I wondered whether I was in heaven. Really, Kashmir is a land of paradise. So, our question is, identify the words or phrases he used to express his thoughts. So, which are the words or phrases he used to express his thoughts? Yeah, I wondered whether I was in heaven. I wondered whether I was in heaven. So the answer is I wondered whether I was in heaven. Identify the words or phrases he used to express his thoughts. I wondered whether I was in heaven. Now let's get to the activity 3. The boy who goes in search of the river feels discouraged when he misses the village boy. He looks up and down the mountain path. He sees no one. His own home is hidden from view by the side of the mountain, and the river is not in sight either. He wishes someone were with him. So, what would be his thoughts at that time? So, we should write the thoughts of the boy in the story when he feels discouraged when he misses the village boy, and he wishes someone were with him because his own home was also hidden from the view by the side of the mountain, and the river was not sighted either. I do not know how far I have to go. I don't know how far the river is yet. Were the woodcutter and the village boy lying? It seems like the girl's answer was true. I wish the village boy were with me. He was familiar with all these areas. Oh God, please help me. I wish I'd soon meet someone else who is helpful. So everyone, do you got the answer? Okay. Now let's get to the fourth activity. The following are the descriptions of a path to the hill. Read them. So there are two boxes here, the box number A and box number B. So these two are the descriptions of a path to the hill. So let's read. Box number A. The path was steep. It was a dizzy, winding one. The hill was covered with lush green ferns. The trees were wound with creepers, and a great wild dahlia would suddenly rear its golden head from the leaves and ferns. A trickle of water came from the hillside. The water was cold and sharp, but very refreshing. So that's box number A. Now let's get to the box number B. The path was steep, the hill was covered with ferns, trees, and dahlias. Water came from the hillside, the water was refreshing. So, do you read the two boxes? The first box is a little more big, but the second box is very short. Now let's get to the question. Which description is more interesting? Which description is more interesting? Yeah. The description number A is more interesting than the description number B. Now the second question, list the words which add greater effect to the description. Which are the words that add greater effect to the description? Yes, steep, dizzy, winding, lush green, trickle of water, refreshing. So these all are the words which add greater effect to the description number A. Now the third question, find out the words that describe the place. Which are the words that describe the place? Yes, the lush green ferns, trees and dahlias, etc. describes the the words that describe the place. So you need to write these questions answers by yourself individually. Now let's before ending our today's class, let's learn what is adjectives. Okay, adjectives is an important thing that we need to learn from this activity 4. So shall we learn? Okay, miss. So first, what are adjectives? So adjectives are the words that describe the quality of a person, animal, place or thing are called adjectives. So what are adjectives? Adjectives are the words that describes the quality of a person, animal, place or thing. Good. We will also say adjectives for numbers, colors, size and shape also. For example, Raju is a smart boy. So, the word smart is the adjective because it describes the quality of person. There is a green parrot. The word green describes the color. So, the word green is the adjective. He has 2 pens. So the word 2 is the adjective because it describes the number. They are in a big hall. So the word big is the adjective because it describes the size. She plays with a round ball. The word round is the adjective because it describes the shape. Other than that, an adjective also describes how someone or something looks like, or tastes, or feels, or smells, or sounds like. For example, beautiful girl. So the word beautiful is the adjective because it describes how the girl looks like. Salty chips. Here, the salt describes how the chip's flavor is, how the chip tastes. So the word salty is the adjective. Soft pillow. So the word soft is the adjective because it describes how the pillow is. Loud music. So the word loud describes how the music is. So the loud is the adjective. So do you understand what are adjectives? So everyone should write what are adjectives, and you should write some examples for adjectives. Okay? Okay. Okay, students, bell rang. So today you have a lot of things to learn. You have to learn the 16 questions and its answers. Then you should learn the 4 activities that we learned today. Then you need to learn what are sound words and what are adjectives. Then you need to complete your activity 1, activity 2, and activity 4. Activity 3's answer, I told you, you have to complete activity 1, activity 2, and activity 4. So, thank you, children. Okay, thank you, miss. Bye bye, Helmi. Bye bye, Felicia. Okay, children, see you all at the next class.